Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be taking a look at an article from Yahoo News written by Lawrence Hurley, published on November 2nd. U.S. top court rejects Trump administration bid to halt climate trial. Now here's the thing. This is a situation where it's a completely frivolous and bullshit lawsuit. And this should have been quashed, because it completely oversteps the idea of the Constitution, and it's a complete reinterpretation of it to try to justify this lawsuit. But let's get into the article here. So this is out of the Washington office of Reuters. The U.S. Supreme Court on Friday rejected, for now, a bid by the President Donald Trump's administration. By the President? Why would you... Wow! Wouldn't it be by President Donald Trump's administration? Who proofreads this shit? No one, obviously. Not even the person who wrote it, Lawrence here. So let me start over here and fix that. The U.S. Supreme Court on Friday rejected, for now, a bid by President Donald Trump's administration to block a trial in a lawsuit filed by young activists who have accused the U.S. government of ignoring the perils of climate change. What perils? No one can fucking agree on a goddamn thing, except that we should have all been underwater by now. All you little kiddies, before you were alive, before, like, you know, your daddy blew a load in your mommy, they said that by now, New York City, LA, other locations, you know, the New England seacoast, Boston, all of it would be underwater. It isn't. Then when things started cooling, they went, oh, we can't call it global warming anymore. Climate change. The models can't predict the same thing twice. They get different results every time. This is about money and people getting permanent, you know, trying to keep their employment permanent in academia. There's no actual unbiased science going on. This is like the idea of the article I did earlier, which... by the time this goes up, I put up yesterday, where, or actually this might be 2 days ago, depending on when this goes up. But, where you've got 1,600 or 1,600 supposed scientists, coming out against the fact of the United States government classifying a person's sex, like, you know, biology, on the fact of actual biology and genetics, and getting rid of this wonderkin 65 gender bullshit that these idiots, that spurging idiots, want on the left. Because there are two genders. Science says this. I mean, two sexes. Because we want to be specific, because I don't want a leftist to go, gender is a construct. Now they're trying to say sex is a construct. And that sex itself is fluid. And because the Trump administration is saying, no, it isn't, they're all spurging out, and 1,600 people, a bunch of them not even actual scientists, even though they're claiming that these people are scientists on it, are like demanding that feels over reals is the case. This is the same type of situation here. It really is. Because they're like, the perils of climate change. Show the perils. You claim there are perils, show them. Show actual proof. The loss for the administration means it now faces a high-profile examination of U.S. climate change policy during the trial that was due to begin on October 29th in Eugene, Oregon, but has since been postponed by the judge. This is what's funny, is they're making it sound like this is some loss. The court said, it's not up to us yet. And they're trying to make it sound like the president lost. No, they just said, this doesn't reach us at this point. Which they should have actually ruled on it being a frivolous lawsuit. But that's a little out of their purview at this point. Again, you know, because it hasn't reached that level yet. Chief Justice John Roberts on October 19th had temporarily put the case on hold while the court as a whole decided how to proceed. The Supreme Court's 3-page order noted that the administration may still have grounds to take its arguments to the San Francisco-based 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Yes, they haven't necessarily run out yet. But the thing is the activist judges on the Supreme Court, they wanted to go to the 9th Circus because they know right now they don't have the votes from the justices to really do what they want. And the Ninth Circus will spurg out and pull their usual bullshit on Trump. That's what they're hoping. Conservative justices Clarence Thomas and Neil Gorsuch indicated they would have granted the administration's request. There was no indication how Trump's new Supreme Court appointee, conservative Brett Kavanaugh, voted on the issue. Now, the thing is Thomas and Gorsuch are right, because this is a frivolous lawsuit. This is where we get into this now. This is why I wanted to cover this, because I wanted to show how these kids want to use the Constitution to their benefit, but they have to, you know, like the younger generations, like the Gen X types, the upcoming generations beyond Z, that are young right now, these ones that are being used as in this, okay? And even some of them are from Gen Z, but look at how they'll twist the Constitution to suit their needs. In the lawsuit, 21 activists aged 11 to 22 said federal officials violated their right to due process under the U.S. Constitution by failing to adequately address carbon pollution, such as emissions from burning of fossil fuels. Right to due process. Excuse me? Holy fucking shit. How the hell does that violate your right to due process? You're not being criminally charged by the government. You're not under criminal investigation. That's the only time, you know, those are the circumstances you have a right to due process. It's when the government takes a case up against you. Holy shit. And you know what gets me is these kids obviously don't have actual science teachers, because when I went to school, we were taught that carbon is the building block of all life. That carbon, as in like CO2, plants take it, they convert the carbon and oxygen, they split the carbon and oxygen, the oxygen gets released into the, you know, atmosphere, they consume the carbon, it's food for them. So to me, higher carbon, on the note of CO2, higher levels of CO2 means more plant food. More plant food means bigger plants. This used to be taught in school. The lawsuit was filed in 2015 against former President Barack Obama and government agencies in federal court in Eugene, Oregon. Both the Obama and Trump administrations have failed in efforts to have the lawsuit thrown out. The administration has said a courtroom is not the appropriate venue for debate on climate change policy. And that's correct. See, what they're hoping for is some activist judge, I mean, they're in Oregon, that's going to decide to make law. I mean, that's what it comes down to with those judge types over there on the West Coast. They like to make law. And that's what they're hoping for. Even though this is a lawsuit, they're hoping that it'll set a precedent. The suit is an attempt to redirect federal environmental and energy policies through the courts rather than through the political process by asserting a new and unsupported fundamental due process right to certain climate conditions, Trump's administration's Solicitor General Noel Francisco said in court papers. That's putting it nicely. That's understating it a little. Because what they're doing here is they are more than just asserting a new unsupported fundamental due process right here. They're literally trying to rewrite the whole concept of due process to mean what they want, to suit their little feels over reals bullshit. Francisco noted that the plaintiffs are seeking to hold the U.S. government liable for the cumulative effects of carbon dioxide emissions from every source in the world over decades. So now the United States is responsible for all the pollution China spits out. The United States is responsible for every third world nation's pollution, every Western nation's pollution. It wasn't bad enough that financially we were supposed to be that way with how much money the U.S. was going to be paying into the Paris Accords. But now these little half-wit, little fucking wet behind the ear parents should fucking be allowed to smack their kids around, in their case, I mean, I don't believe in hitting children, but maybe if they got knocked around a little, they'd have some common sense, you know. But with these kids, they seriously are trying to make the U.S. responsible after we get out of the Paris Accords type thing. I mean, even though, you know, they started this in 2015, it's like they think that they have a right to dictate to the rest of us. It's ridiculous. Lawyers for the young activists, led by Julia Olson of Eugene-based group called Our Children's Trust, that brought the lawsuit, have said their clients have suffered irreparable harm from the effects of changing climate. Was this bitch an ambulance chaser before an environmental bullshit type attorney here? What irreparable harm? You have to show actual damage. Put your money where your mouth is, so to speak. Show it. Release documentation of their harm. Make it public. Oh, that's right. You don't have any actual proof to back that up. You guys are pathetic. All you people on the left pulling shit like this, you literally try to rewrite the law to suit you. This is a case about the fundamental rights of children and whether the actions of their government have deprived them of their inalienable rights, Olson said in court papers. Where in the Constitution is it an inalienable right about carbon pollution? Where? The Founding Fathers didn't write that into the Constitution, and you're not about to yourself. You people are, you were so sleazy. How do you sleep at night? Oh, wait. You people are like one step away from sociopath. So you probably don't have any problems sleeping at night. This is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. On July 30th, the High Court rejected an earlier application by Trump administration, calling it premature. How is it premature? This is a frivolous lawsuit. It's going to cost the taxpayers millions of dollars by the time this is done, probably. Or even if it isn't millions of dollars, it's still costing the taxpayers more money than they'll make in a year, a lot of cases, and when it comes to the average person. I mean, this is ridiculous. Eugene, Oregon-based federal judge Ann Aiken has repeatedly allowed the case to move forward to trial over the objections of the government. The trial will proceed if neither the High Court nor the Ninth Circuit intervene. This is a frivolous lawsuit. How the hell? This judge is trying to make her bones and be an activist fucking judge. Aiken said on October 15th, ruling that although the case raised questions about the role of the judiciary delving into a matter of policy, those concerns were not enough to warrant a dismissal of the entire case. Literally, you're not supposed to be involved in policy. You're there to interpret the fucking law as it is written. Holy shit. Aiken, you need to be removed from the bench if you honestly think that the judiciary has the right to go in and become part of making policy. Oh my God. Which is why Gorsuch and Thomas were against this shit. Oh God. This is the state of society. These are the future generations that are going to be running this fucking country. God help us all. Because they're going to twist the laws to mean whatever the fuck they want them to mean, whenever it suits them to do so. This is ridiculous. God help us all. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.